So Gary, you worked on multiple different construction projects, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Have you come across where a team works on project A, moves on to project B,
Yep.
all the mistakes that are made, all the lessons learned do not get carried forward into other projects? Have
Yep.
you
Yes.
have you seen that happen in the industry?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it happens. It happens quite a lot, obviously.
Yeah.
I came from the Melbourne market originally, like construction in Melbourne, and I worked for a big company in Melbourne, a big plumbing company, and we were probably pushing at the forefront to try and track those lessons learned and really trying to learn from those mistakes. And I think we did okay. There was always room for improvement on anything like that.
Yeah.
But and the hardest part was trying to because lessons learned is basically talking about mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And one thing in construction people hate talking about is mistakes when they fuck up. I always used to say it's not a fuck up until you bury it or until you can't fix it.
Yep.
So, people don't want to admit to mistakes. They want to try and find a way to sweep it under the carpet,
Yep.
which is fine because, you don't want to look like you don't know what you're doing or whatever. But it also is an opportunity. You're missing an opportunity to try and learn from it. So I think like a lessons learned register is something that people definitely do. I know that.
But registers are registers, right?
Registers are register.
Who reads registers?
It's
Mate,
what you take
I'll
from
be
that
honest with
register.
you create a lessons learned register. I'm not going to read it.
No.
I'll be brutally fucking honest. I'm like, yeah, okay,
Exactly.
cool. But how do we then get that message, from one project and carry forward those learnings to the next project? Within a company, within your company, how would you do it?
Yeah, well, so with the new company I'm in now, obviously it's something that I want to try and implement. But in the old company, it was a register, unfortunately. It needs to be, and that's something you would do at the end of a project. You do a review, you work out what went well. Obviously, you want to focus on the good things just as much as the bad things, but you'll need to know what went wrong because maybe you made money anyway, but maybe you could have made more. So all those mistakes that you made, imagine if you only didn't make half of those or 25% of those less. That could be 25% extra back in your back pocket, So,
absolutely. Yeah.
So it's an invaluable thing to know. So I think the key would be to review that at the end, and then it needs to carry over to the.
That's the key part we're missing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's how do you carry that forward?
Yeah. It needs to form part of your pre-construction or pre-start. It could be a dot point thing. If it's a similar project, then there should be some like major items that maybe were a big learning curve from the last one that needs to be top of the pile for that project commencement. That's like, hey, let's just revisit that register and say, hang on, what have we done here? Oh, we're going to have a similar issue coming up. All right, what are we going to do different this time? That's the gap at the moment. Like some people do those reviews at the end, great. No one gets the information. Whole new team on the next project that's similar, but it might be a completely different team or whatever, and they don't get fed that information. So
right.
That's
so
all.
From your experience in Australia,
yeah,
it's the same thing happens there.
I think from when I started running jobs, I think we definitely tried to. Me personally, you do learn from your mistakes anyway, just as a personal learning, and you get to the next job and you think, oh, hang on, that was a massive fuck up last time. I'm going to catch it this time.
Absolutely.
So then you do that anyway. If you're a good site manager or project manager, you should be doing that on a personal basis. But as a company, you really want to try and drive it. So I think the old company I worked for, we did try to do that. Like we did try to share, like it was a big push on trying to information share around the whole business. The issues that you would have, don't keep it to yourself, let it out. Like if it's a massive issue, let everybody know, explain what happened, put a memorandum or notice or whatever out to explain it and just give a brief overview of it, and then at least people can take it or not it from that, but at least you're putting the information out there and you're trying to educate. And it always comes back to education, doesn't it? You're trying to push that information out, and hopefully someone smart enough will read it who's going to be looking at the next job and looking at that next mistake, and they'll learn from it and avoid the same pitfall. So
maybe AI has a part to play in all of this somewhere.
Maybe AI is
never know. We'll get there.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, I think that's the key. It's just trying to the guys at the top need to be pushing that to their guys below them, and really focus on it, because it could be a winner for the company if you can really reduce those issues.
And collect a centralized database where you can actually pull from.
And just try and get that blame culture out of there a little bit as well. Like if someone makes a mistake, all right, sweet, it's cost us some money, but don't drag them through the ringer for it. Like educate them on it.
Absolutely.
And then the next time, hopefully, they won't make the same mistake. So yeah, that's what I think. That's my take on it.